Hey everyone, welcome back once again to our CA Foundation Business Economics series where we are discussing CA Foundation concepts in the most quick and practical manner. So without wasting much time, let's get back to the video. So today we will be covering chapter 9 International Trade, in which we will cover unit 2 the instruments of trade policy in this video. So here is the introduction. So trade policies are crafted by governments to manage and regulate the flow of goods and services across borders. These policies include tariffs and non-tariff measures (NTM) that protect domestic industries, promote export, generate revenue and balance international trade dynamics. Understanding the instruments of trade policy is key to analyzing how a country positions itself in the global economy while safeguarding its economic interest. Then comes tariffs. So tariffs are taxes imposed on imported and sometimes exported goods, making foreign goods more expensive in the domestic market. So they are primarily used to protect local industries by limiting competition from abroad, and they also generate revenue from the government. Then comes forms of import tariffs. So first is specific tariff. So a fixed tax per unit of the good regardless of the price. Example, a rupees 500 tariff on every imported smartphone, making each phone's import cost rupees 500 higher. So a fixed one. Then comes ad valorem tariff. So a percentage of imported goods value. Example could be a 10% tariff of imported jewelry worth 10,000 adds rupees 1,000 to its price, making it costlier for domestic buyers. Then comes compound tariff. So it's a combination of both specific as well as ad valorem tariffs. So example could be a import tax of rupees 200 plus 5% of the value of each imported laptop means that a 20,000 laptop would have additional 1200 additional cost, which will make the overall cost to 21,200. Then comes sliding scale tariff. So the tariff rates varies with changes in the price or quantity of the imported goods. Example could be higher tariff on imported wheat if global price is down below a certain threshold, protecting local farmers from cheap imports. Then comes mixed tariff. So it allows the government to apply either a specific or an ad valorem tariff, whichever results in a higher duty. Example, a 5% ad valorem tariff or rupees 500 per imported car, whichever is higher. So this is just an example. Actual rates would be a different one. Then come effects on tariff. So first is revenue generation. So tariffs add to government's income, especially important for developing nations. Second, protection for domestic industries. So higher import prices make domestic products more attractive, shielding local businesses. And third one, consumer impact. So imported goods become more expensive, reducing consumer choice and increasing cost. Then comes employment. So tariffs can create jobs in protected industries but may lead to higher prices in the broader economy. Then comes non tariff measures. So NTM. So NTMs are policy tools other than tariff that government use to restrict import, promote export or regulate trade. So they include standards and regulatory measures affecting goods quality, origin and method of entry into a country. There are technical measures. So these regulations ensure that imported goods meet domestic health, safety and environmental standards. First one, sanitary and phytosanitary measures, SPF measures. So it protects against risk from plants, animals and foods. Example, India restricts import on certain poultry products to prevent disease transmission. Second comes technical barriers to trade, TBT. So these are standards and regulations ensuring product quality and safety. So example, electrical goods must meet specific voltage and safety standards. Then comes product labeling requirements. So it enforcing labeling standards for imported goods to inform consumers. So example could be India requires specific labeling of on processed food regarding nutrition content and allergies. Then comes packaging requirement. So standards for packaging to ensure environment protection and consumer safety. Example could be plastic packaging restrictions for imported goods to reduce plastic wastage. Then comes product certification. So imported products must have certain certifications showing they meet quality or safety standards. Example could be medical device needs to meet Indian Health Ministry certifications before their import. Then comes environmental standards. So regulations to limit environmental harm from imported goods. Example restrictions on products containing hazardous chemical or pollutants. Then comes non-technical measures. So these measures addresses trade restrictions that are not directly related to product characteristics but impact the volume and cost of import. First is quotas. So limiting on the quantity or the value of goods that can be imported. Example, a cap on imported foreign cars to protect domestic auto industry. Then comes import licensing. So requiring importer to obtain licenses to regulate specific goods. Example could be import licenses for heavy machineries to control the quality of import. Third comes anti-dumping duties. So extra tariffs on foreign goods sold below their fair market prices. Example, India imposes anti-dumping duties on Chinese steel to prevent below cost imports. Fourth comes voluntary export restraints. So agreements where the exporting countries limits export to avoid tariffs or quotas. Example, Japan has agreed to limit car export to the US in the 1980s to avoid harsher trade restrictions. Then come fifth one, embargoes. That means complete ban on trade with specific countries. So example could be economic sanctions on Iran limiting import or export activities. Then comes export related measures. So export measures regulate goods leaving the country and are designed to ensure domestic availability or boost foreign trade by making export more competitive. So first is export subsidies. So financial incentives for exporters to make their goods more competitive abroad. Example, government subsidies for Indian IT service to help they compete in global markets. Second is export trades taxes. So duties on exported goods means exported goods to maintain local supply and control prices domestically. Example could be India imposes export tax on sugar to ensure adequate supply for local consumers. Third comes export licensing. So licenses required for certain goods to ensure control export. Example, licensing is required for arm export to monitor sensitive items and national security. Then comes minimal export price MEP. So setting a base price for exports to avoid underpricing and protect local industries. Example, India sets an MEP on onions to prevent shortage in the domestic market. Then comes a numerical example on the tariff calculation. So suppose India exports 1000 units of textile priced at rupees 1000 each and add hold-on tariff of 15% increases the price of each unit by 150, making the new price as 1150, that is 1150. So the tariff would result into a total tariff revenue of 1,50,000, which is a tariff per unit into number of units. So by increasing the cost of import, the tariff protects domestic textile producers who may have a better chance of competing. Then comes to the MG extras. So here today's MG extra or the thing is first trade policy analysis. So research a recent NTM implemented by India could be on imported electronics and discuss its impact on local businesses and consumers. And second is calculate tariff effects. So using a given tariff rate, calculate how it affects the final price of imported goods, example smartphone, and discuss and analyze its impact on our choices as a consumer. Then comes to the conclusion, which is instruments of trade policy, including tariffs, non tariff measures, and export related restrictions, play a critical role in shaping the trade environment. By understanding and applying these tools, governments can protect domestic industries, generate revenue, as well as regulate the flow of goods in and out of the country. So, trade policy instruments are essentials for ensuring that countries benefit from globalization while safeguarding local economic interests. So, that's it from this video. Thank you. Keep learning, keep rocking, and keep enjoying. Bye bye.